the Christian church is a problem in the sense that it places all of its emphasis of morality on sexuality, to the point of repression of sexual desires, and that creates problems. I mean, look at the Catholic Church, right? Just, it's not to say or buy into the trope that Nick was trying to advise against, which is all they need is to be able to have a outlet, but really sexual repression does create more problems, right? Sexual repression makes you do things that you probably would not do if you had just had healthy sexual relationships, and religion contributes to sexual repression in a way that you have to have been in religion heavily to believe it. I mean, the amount of guilt that goes in to a young Christian kid who masturbates. I mean, seriously. Hopefully the kids aren't around and it's just you and I listening, talking to each other right now. But the amount of guilt. I mean, people sit around and just feel like, oh God, I can't believe I just masturbated. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And then God forbid you have sex, and then you feel this guilt around having sex, and then you build up all of these taboos in your mind to where you're not able to have a healthy sexual relationship even when you get married. And a huge component of that is religion. And this is what Roy Moore is. That's what he's just a religious conservative, evangelical. I mean, in the most extreme sense. And that is that's something that we as a civilized people, Christians and all, we have to absolutely move away from that. And this is to include what the caller was talking about in terms of sex workers, and the role that they play in the labor, that the way they choose to give their labor. That's it's. I'm very simply put, very sex positive, pro sex worker, to protect them, legalize it, protect them, because a sexually repressed society that evangelicals want is so damaging. So damaging, and they are the evidence themselves. This is the thing that trips me out, right? It's difficult to talk about without, I don't really, it's taboo, right? And most of the time we have these conversations, we have it with, with language that is almost juvenile or insulting, right? It's very, unless you have just all, it's not a conversation clearly that I'm well versed in having. But one thing I can tell you is that the people who are telling you to not have sex, the people who are telling you to be abstinent, can't even be abstinent themselves, right? Christians are some of the one of the largest groups that are getting abortions, right? And it creates a stigma and a problem that follows you all of your life, because you never learned how to have a healthy sexual relationship. And that in and of itself does cause, repression. It causes behaviors to manifest that would not manifest in many cases unless you were just a sexual deviant who wanted to cause pain in people's lives, like Louis C.K. apparently did, at least allegedly did, right? We're always going to have to weed out the sociopaths from these conversations, because that's a reality, that's a grim reality that we're coming up on very publicly almost every day. The sociopathy of people who want to hurt, they can't even, they can't even get off unless they are causing someone physical pain. And that's another thing, it's the hole goes deep. The rabbit hole goes extremely deep. Like there's like mountains of porn that services men, that provides men with visuals of women being hurt, rape porn. It's out of control. And then, if you're supporting sex workers, if you're pro sex workers, you have to be concerned about the women who are in these pieces that are being physically harmed for the pleasure of men who require seeing physical harm. Like, what the hell is wrong with us? Then, of course, you're going to have a Christian who comes around and say, well, they need Jesus. Okay, I get that. But I would believe that more. I would believe that was the answer more if Christians weren't all screwed up sexually all over the goddamn world. Like, I could believe that, and I'm saying this as a Christian, I would believe that more if this sociopathy wasn't as present in Christian circles as it is. I mean, what do you think most of these people are? Christianity is like the majority religion here in the United States. I mean, all these people coming out, I mean, they're probably coming out as being sexual predators. They probably are in someone's church every week. Right? So it's something more that's needed, because it's not even enough for religion, for people in religious circles. There's something more that's needed, and what's needed are real. One piece of the puzzle is confronting it head on with discussions and conversations, one-on-one in real life, even if it's via the radio, whatever it is in real life, letting people know that shit's just crazy. And you'll be surprised. You would be surprised. You know what's a powerful thing? Here's a powerful thing. Here's a powerful thing. Talking to one of your boys, and one of your boys saying, you got issues. That's a powerful thing, because men's sexuality is really tied in a lot of ways to what their friends think, to what their boys think. It's amazing, fascinating thing that probably most of you in the audience have probably read up on it in great detail. But having one of your friends hear what you're saying and tell you that you have problems. That's what we have to, that's an element that I don't think is happening enough. It clearly is not happening enough. We've got to start doing it. We got to start calling people on it. We can't indulge as guys. We can't indulge in the conversations that include sexual harassment. So anyway. All right. Wow. The conversation in the chat room on YouTube is lit. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I just will not comment on. 857-600-0548 if you want to weigh in on the conversation.